A warm welcome back to Darts Daily and Tungsten Tales, as we're here to have a little look back at the Players' Championship action from Wigan in the Robin Park Tennis Centre, the first Players' Championship event of the year, which was won by Mr. Rob Cross, the reigning Dutch darts master. For those of you that hadn't seen a Players' Championship event before, 128 tour card holders, they all go into the hat. And they all play to a finish in a behind closed doors environment. And today's winner was Voltage, the former world champion, who came through some really, really tough games to secure his first win and the first win of the Pro Tour season. We'll take you through his route to the title, which culminated with a big win over Joe Cullen, who was excellent throughout the day in Wigan. But it all started with a win over Robert Owen. Later in the tournament, in the last 32, he was victorious over James Hurrell with 104.5 average. But the big performances, although it wasn't the big average, came against Jermaine Wattimena, who, much like Cullen, had been playing fantastic throughout the day. And that quarter-final win, the final leg decider, set up a semi-final with number 29 seed for the afternoon, Andrew Gilding. That was arguably Cross's best performance of the day, 108.55 average for Voltage in a 7-3 victory over Gilding before an 8-3 victory over Cullen with that 104.6 average sealed the title. So after not winning a Pro Tour title in 2024, he's off to the perfect start with the first of 34 Players' Championship events under his belt in 2025. We will review some of the other names that are in action over in Wigan. Just a couple of names not with us, the likes of Benjamin Drew Royce and Michael van Gerwen, not in attendance in Wigan. We're unsure as to why MVG wasn't there. He's obviously been playing a fair bit of darts in 2025 so far, but not there for Players' Championship 1 or Players' Championship 2, which is tomorrow. Quite strange to see MVG, former 3-time world champion, not in the venue for today's darts. But for whatever reason, we hope we can see him return during next week's events. The player to replace Van Gerwen, certainly, was Beau Greaves, the 3-time ladies world champion. She made her Pro Tour debut after 2 wins on the Challenge Tour, and she was averaging really highly against Owen Bates in her game, in 105, 106 sort of region halfway through the game, but did regress and unfortunately lost that game 6-4, though she will be back tomorrow for some more action in Wigan. There were impressive signs from the new PDC Winmau World Master, Luke Humphreys. He came through some tough ties early on against the likes of Rusty Jake Rodriguez and Mencia Sulevic. He then defeated Mike De Decker in the last 16. Didn't quite reach the heights that we saw at the Winmau World Masters, but was exceptional in the semi-final against Joe Cullen. 102 average from Humphreys, and in the mid-game as such, he was absolutely dominant, but the start and the end of the game were dominated by Joe Cullen. That's why he was the man to go on and claim the victory and make the final against Rob Cross. As ever, we'll have a quick look at what Luke Littler did today. Fairly underwhelming performances from Littler. He started off the day with a 6-4 win over Jim Long, just a 91 average on that occasion. We're, of course, used to seeing so much more from the reigning world champion, the Nuke. And then an 87 average to defeat Martin Lukeman in what was a repeat of the Grand Slam of Darts final, and he repeated that average, a near identical average in the last 32 when he was defeated by Joe Cullen 6-3, 87.81 the average for the Nuke as he lost out in the last 32. A few more stories from around the day to sum up. Michael Smith was defeated in his opening game by Dimitri Vandenberg. We know Smith's been going through a number of injury issues, and those were fairly apparent in that game against Dimitri Vandenberg, despite checkouts of 132 and 140. Gary Anderson, he was defeated in his opening game, as well as was Dave Chisnell, who lost out to Carl Sneed. Chisnell currently the number 1 on the PDC Pro Tour Order of Merit, although due to his performances of late, I'm sure he will be tumbling down the rankings. Stephen Bunting, he was victorious, got a couple of wins on the board. Johnny Clayton put in a couple of stunning performances, and Michele Tarata, who you remember from the World Cup of Darts, he was victorious in the opening round at 105 average against Ryan Searle, who averaged almost 108 himself. We'll be back tomorrow to round up Players Championship 2. For now, this has been all the news and all the stories from Players Championship 1. Thank you very much for tuning in to Darts Daily and Tungsten Tales once again, and we'll see you tomorrow.